Welcome to A&M Reviews. I'm Skybear and here with my buddy Sal. What's up, Sal?
Not much.
So today we are going to be talking about Justice League. And keep in mind, before we get into this, we will be spoiling this movie, so watch out for that. So, what do you think about this movie, Sal?
Mixed reviews. First off, I'm going to tell you right now, I have 2 grades that I'm giving it. One grade is as a DC Extended Universe fan. The next is a general superhero fan who goes to see superhero movies, but is not really knowledgeable about the characters. So that's going to be 2 grades that I'm going to give it. Personally, I kind of had a mixed feeling about it. I mean, it's a movie that...
DC or Marvel, Sal?
This is my point of view from the DC fan.
No. Which one do you like better, Sal? DC or Marvel?
Marvel. But DC has darker characters, which I like. So
it's on the record, people.
Because it depends. Like, here's the thing. For DC, I like animated movies. They really do a good job. Marvel does it more like live action characters because their cartoons, like the short movies, are like kind of cringy.
Yeah. I feel like DC's definitely got the animated movie down.
Yeah, they do.
Or I mean, not as of late. But
not lately, but before, I mean, there's been really good ones.
But they're mostly all good ones.
Yeah.
But then with live action, not so much. And then with Marvel, it's just the reverse.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to give it 2 reviews. First of all, I'm taking the point of view of the DC fan. The movie, for me, fell short of what I expected, but I really don't point the blame at one person. It's just like the perfect storm that came together. First of all, Warner Brothers mandate, 2 hours or less, that kind of killed the movie. Also having directors, switch, that kind of hurt the movie at the core. But I'm not saying that it was a bad thing that they needed to. I mean, Snyder had to leave for his, his reasons. So there was other stuff that bugged me a lot. But first of all, let's start off with the grade. As a DC fan, I gave it a 5.5 to a 6.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst movie. That goes to Suicide Squad of lately. This was a little better than, Batman vs. Superman, but it's not at the point as Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's way up. Wonder Woman, they did a wonderful job with that movie. For this one, they kind of took 2 steps back or more. That's how I feel.
Well, I actually feel like I give it my same grading with Wonder Woman. I gave it a 7 to 7.5.
Well, see, that's the grading I gave it as a general fan.
Yeah.
But anybody who's a superhero movie fan and just goes to see superhero movies, they're going to like it. I gave it a 7 to 7.5.
Yeah.
Either it's not a go rent it. This is basically for them is like, go see it. See what it is. And then make up your mind. Don't wait for it on DVD, because once the DVD comes out, I'm sure they're going to have more extended versions, because basically that's the running joke right now. That's what DCEU stands for, the extended DVDs releases. So
I mean pretty much, like, I'm actually waiting for either that I want to see like the Zack Snyder cut. I want to see what that's
I want to see that cut too. Yeah, same here. Okay, so let's start off with the pros. On my list, there was a lot of reference to the Batman Returns films. Tim Burton Batman theme was in there.
Oh yeah, that's like a whole other thing we got to get on.
Yes.
Okay.
The next thing is I like the fact that they have the fourth world, and you got referencing Jack Kirby, because we know that Jack Kirby went from Marvel. He left for a bit, went to DC, and they gave him, the ability to do his own world. So he created the fourth world. That's where Darkseid comes from.
Yeah.
Next thing is I like the reference that Steppenwolf referenced Darkseid and Apocalypse. Next thing I liked about it was Superman's act. It wasn't the worst. His character story kind of was, he's too fast. That's my thing.
Did we notice the mustache?
Yes,
did we notice it, Sal? Was it apparent?
It was apparent in some scenes. Some other scenes,
okay.
I didn't really...
No, I feel the same thing. Like I noticed it like a couple of times, but it didn't overall like ruin my experience.
But I think the blame is put on because the movie split into different studios who handle the after editing or the special effects and stuff like that. So some of them did a better job than others to cover up the mustache. But with that said, I mean, it didn't ruin the movie for me. That's just a little thing is like a little scratch. You just scratch it and it's gone kind of thing. Next thing is Cyborg. Oh my God, Ray Fisher's acting was great. Cool. I liked his. I mean, he came from theater. A lot of people were afraid of it, but he did his role. He did his job. He sold Cyborg.
Yeah, he did good.
Next thing,
Ezra Miller as the Flash. Also love that.
I kind of didn't like a lot of jokes that he was making. I mean, he needed to make some jokes, but I think he went overboard with them. But I think that was not him. That was the director.
Joss Whedon.
Yes.
Joss Whedon's secret.
Actually, people have been saying that's him putting himself in the film with the joke. So I don't know about that, but it could have been something true to that. Next thing is Batman. I like how they shot him in some scenes, the homage to comics, like the purging on on top of the statue when he's swinging, stuff like that. But then later down the line, he's like the character started getting two-tone, like a two-dimensional character, just like, oh, I'm just here to like point you the right direction.
Well, sometimes that's what Batman is.
Yeah, but I mean,
sometimes you can't change that dude's mind.
Well, yeah, but he kind of felt bad for killing Superman, so I'm like, you should have stepped up and did something else. Like, first,
I do feel that was kind of that like emotional arc.
Yes,
kind of like came a little too fast, But I mean, like it does feel rushed. But I mean, given the circumstances that we were in. I mean, I feel like everyone did their best.
And the same thing. That's why I really didn't like Warner Brothers' route they took, that they mandated the film to be 2 hours or less. I mean,
like if anything, Justice League needs to be the 2.5 hour, 3 hour movie.
Exactly. This is the one where you need to introduce all the characters. I mean, you already know Superman, you know Batman, you know Wonder Woman, but hey, guess what? There's some other characters that we've heard of them, but other people haven't.
Right, so they needed 2.5 hours. Like, it would have been better if they had 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours. Like, that's what Justice League.
Yes,
that's the movie you do that for.
Because you have all these grade A superheroes involved, and you need to give them their separate times, and then bring them into one line. Like I would say, it's like a branch. It's a tree, upside down tree. All these branches come into one trunk, and you know that's Justice League. It's a big trunk. They all unite. And that's the movie. But you need time. That's the whole point. This is the culmination of all the standalone movies. Yeah. So yeah, you need more than two hours.
Yeah, and I feel like, was this like the Justice League movie like we were all hoping for? Probably not. No. But I mean, like, it wasn't bad.
Could have been.
It could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse. And you know what? For what it was, this movie wasn't that bad.
No. Well, my last point, it was that one of the best fights that I seen versus the final fight, was the Amazons versus Steppenwolf.
Oh, that was your favorite fight?
That was my favorite fight because they're all working together to keep the box away from him. They don't achieve it, but the way they put up the fight, they put up more fight than the superheroes at the end of the movie. That's just, to me, it's like, it felt like they phoned in the last fight kind of thing. Until Superman showed up and was like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, like, everyone would have been fucked if it wasn't for Superman.
But at the same time, that Justice League is, we're all a team. If it wasn't for them as being a team, then Superman could just be like, I got this, stand back.
Yeah.
And then it wouldn't be Justice League. It'd be like, Superman and the crew.
Yeah. And speaking of the crew, what is it? My favorite fight scene in that whole movie? Justice League versus Superman.
Oh yes, that was one of the scenes where Flash is running, and that's when he noticed
and Superman gives him that look.
He's almost as fast as me because he's looking at me. Just by him noticing where he is, gives the Flash like, oh shit, the look on his face.
Like that moment was great. Like for me, I was just like that. Like made my heart sing. I was like, "Oh my god, this is awesome!"
But I thought it was kind of funny because like everybody shows up and then like Batman shows up at the end because everybody was like, "Flash is fast. He ran there." Cyborg flew there. Aquaman probably hitched a ride with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman just like, I don't know if she flies in the movie because so she leaped or something. So
yeah, she was falling with style.
Yes, Toy Story reference. But then Batman shows up at the end like catching his breath. Like, I'm here, guys. Yeah, I'm here. Almost at the end. But yeah, that was a good. I wouldn't call it a fight scene. I would call it more of a like confrontation.
Okay. I mean.
To me, that was not.
Sal, heat vision was used. Yeah. It was a fight.
Well, I mean, no, because I mean, a fight means like, it's like to the death kind of thing. But there's like, oh no, we're just here calming you down kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically when he showed up. It was like, oh yeah, he had the death stare. He's like the bad Superman.
I mean, I just love that oh shit moment on Flash's face.
Yes.
Like that was terrific. And yeah, although also like that was one of the Joss Whedon moments like later on in that scene too. That where like Batman's just like, oh, something's definitely bleeding. I'm just assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so what did you think about Steppenwolf?
Steppenwolf. That's one of my cons. Steppenwolf.
Yeah. I mean,
he's a cookie cutter bad guy, like a supervillain. Like he's could have been better. I mean, Here's the thing.
He could have been better, but also, I mean, like, I get it. Like, this is just kind of a throwaway villain.
That's what it seems like. But I mean, it seems like it was like, yeah, they're going to beat him up and then we're going to see the real villain, step in. And we never got that sense. Like, it never came to closure.
Yeah, I mean, I also get it, like, if, like, all 6 of them need to get together to beat Steppenwolf. I mean, all you really needed was Superman, but still. But I mean, like, if it takes all 6 of them, then, like, oh, what happens when, like, Darkseid comes around,
Yeah, yeah.
But, I mean, even still, I didn't, like, I'm kind of, on the bandwagon with everybody else. Like, I didn't really care about Steppenwolf that much.
I didn't care about him, first of all.
And, like, CG. I never felt like he was a threat. Oh, yeah, and the CG, like, it wasn't that great.
Why did they go CG route with Steppenwolf? I mean, couldn't they achieve the same thing with the real actor and just makeup?
Yeah, probably.
This is the issue that a lot of people say, oh, well, Steppenwolf's supposed to be really tall. Look, you can get away with, camera shots. The Hobbit movie, think about it.
I mean, Zack Snyder knows this. He did 300. He made Xerxes look fucking huge.
Yes. So yeah, that's my feel about Steppenwolf. Cookie cutter villain, too easy to like. I mean, it's not that he was easy to beat. It was just that his character didn't build up to seem such a big threat. He only had like one weapon, and Superman just blew cold air. Is like, and then
that's what I appreciated though. We finally get to see super breath. Oh my god, I've been waiting so long for goddamn super breath.
I have been waiting for that, and I was thinking like, where was that in Batman versus Superman?
Just casually rolls the fuck out in Justice League, and you know what? I'm all for it.
Did you develop him while you were dead?
He came back with new abilities.
That's the other thing, though. Okay, Batman versus Superman ending. Don't we see the dirt move like he's coming back?
Yeah.
And then in this movie, they actually had to dig him out, and he's dead.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, I mean, like,
sense.
I mean, Batman, even said like we don't even know, how he is in this state. And like that's all it was to Batman. It was just a state for Superman.
But the way they revived him, kind of to me, was a cop out. It was like, oh, ooze plus box equals Lazarus Pit.
Yeah, that immediately felt just like thrown in or like thrown together. Just like, yeah, sure, mother box.
Oh yeah, mother box. Okay, what is that? Goo. Yeah, throw it together. Lazarus Pit. Oh, he's gonna come back, but we don't know if he's gonna be the good one or the bad guy. Like, yeah, this seems like you're recreating a Lazarus Pit.
Yeah, and I've been talking this over with a couple people too. I feel like what we're all missing from this movie is the Marvel approach. Having the context behind this film of what these characters have been through. Because I mean, like, in Batman v Superman, all we got was like, oh, there's Robin's suit, so like obviously that should happen.
Yes,
but in this movie, you hear Batman say, oh, like, when he was talking with Aquaman, he's like, oh, it worked in Gotham for 20 years. Or, like, it's been working for Gotham in 20 years.
Yes.
Well, for 20 years. It's like, oh, so now we know that Batman's been Batman for 20 years.
Yes, that's the other thing that people kind of like, are like, okay, that give you a timeline. And people caught it and they saw it and they're like, okay, so he's been doing this for 20 years. So that's why a lot of people are like, oh, this is why Bruce Wayne's really tired. Like, he's the slow Batman now kind of thing. Like, he's tired. He wants somebody else to, help
old
him.
Man Batman.
Yeah, he's old man. Yeah, that's why I was like, when I was looking at him, I'm like, okay, I can understand that. That's why I didn't give him a lot of shit for this movie. But the other thing that I did give him shit for was character development. They didn't develop
well,
Aquaman.
because like just like all of us. Like, oh yeah, also with Aquaman, but also just like oh okay, so like I get it. You feel guilty about killing Superman, but I mean, all of a sudden you really want him back that bad. Like, you did try to murder the dude.
Now you killed him, and you're like, oh, I should bring him back. Does that feel bad? That shouldn't be a motive to bring people back. It's like, oh, I shot him, I killed him, I feel bad. I should bring the guy back.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. I get it. Oh yeah, but with Aquaman, like Aquaman, I don't know, like I feel, but that's why, like, I mean, we're getting an Aquaman movie, we're getting a Flash movie, and a Cyborg movie,
exactly,
and all the sequels for Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. Basically, everyone gets a movie.
But I understand that. I understand the fact that we're getting standalone movies. But here's the thing: Cyborg had flashbacks. we saw a little flashbacks and we got to understand like people who didn't know who Cyborg was, because I'm sure a lot of people don't know who Cyborg is unless they've seen Teen Titans. First of all, he's not the original member of Justice League. It was Martian Manhunter. So they switched the roles. So people are like, who's Cyborg? They show the flashback. Oh, it's a guy who had an accident, RoboCop style kind of thing, fixed him up. You got that from the flashbacks. Aquaman comes in, nothing. Flash comes in, just a quick reference like, so you got hit by lightning. That doesn't give you much. And then you see him visiting his dad in the prison. That doesn't really mean that it's a character development story or you know his backstory. Do some flashbacks.
Yeah.
Doesn't
but
cost
I also
you much.
kind of feel like that's what's a good thing about Justice League, if you kind of like turn that around. Because like if you watch this movie, that's what I was saying, you know, like just like the context of what these people have gone through is missing. But if you just rewatch just like Justice League Unlimited, and then, you know, like the animated movies, then you're all good. Then it all makes sense, you know.
But here's the thing, that's like extra homework you have to do.
I know, it is pretty much just like, oh yeah, you had to watch like a shit ton of other shit to get to this movie.
For general fans who go to see just movies, they don't want basically be like, oh, to see the movie, you need to see this before you go. That's extra steps.
Like, unless you're like keeping up with like comics and shit, you know, then like you're gonna be missing stuff. Like if you are keeping up with it, then like you can just fill in the gaps, you know, just like, oh yeah, that's from, you know, Crisis on Infinite Earths, or like that's from like The New Frontier or whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, in that sense, like that's why they're two greats: DC fan and general moviegoer superhero fan. So for the general superhero fan, that's my my little bitching issues that I have on it. Is like people didn't know where Aquaman came from. Well, then they said Atlantis, but they didn't show it. They didn't show why he left the throne and stuff. A few flashbacks would have done nicely in that, or Batman talking to his butler about it, like, oh yeah, Aquaman, you know, he had issues, this, blah blah blah.
But wait, Sal, we can't do flashbacks. Otherwise, people are going to think Suicide Squad. It's too soon.
No, but the thing is, like, just mention a little bit of it. The Flash, you know. Don't just say he got hit by lightning. Say, hey, oh, your dad's in jail. Okay, you know, your mom, you killed your mom.
Yeah.
You're saying that he's innocent, blah, blah, blah.
The actor who plays Flash's dad is Billy Crudup.
Yes.
Billy Crudup is Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And also, in the extended edition of Batman v Superman, we can see on a billboard just spray painted, "The end is nigh." And if you've been keeping up with... what is it? One of the newer, or was it Rebirth? DC Rebirth?
Yeah. DC Rebirth.
Okay, so Rebirth happened, right?
Yes.
So we all know that Dr. Manhattan is the creator of the DC universe, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you didn't know, then fuck you. Now you know.
But see, that's the other thing. Like a lot of people who don't know about this would just go and just not pay attention to it. But people who are into it and everything, they pick up things. This movie,
you can't have a life and then you have to just read comics.
Exactly. This movie had a lot of Easter eggs too.
Right. So that makes me wonder, is that like just because, oh hey, Zack Snyder directed it and hey, we've worked together before, you want to be in my movie? It's Justice League, you get paid. Like I don't know if it was like that or if it was like with the end is nigh thing, you know, because I mean, who doesn't love referencing their shit?
Yes.
Like is this kind of like the DC movie way of saying like, oh yeah, subtly, you know, hey, Dr. Manhattan's behind this whole thing. BT dubs. Yeah. Like, check out Watchmen.
Well, maybe that's the scapegoat they can do too, because like if it doesn't go their way, like Dr. Manhattan destroyed the universe again. Justice League. Okay, the team did not fight or argue as much as I wanted them to, and if they did, they quickly resolved their issues. Which was...
what do you expect out of them?
It bugged me. Because I'm like, this is people who have never worked with each other before. And, of course, there's going to be, like, headbutting, you know? But they started arguing. They argued, and they made up, you know, next scene, they're together in one car. And I'm like, it doesn't work for me.
Oh, what is it? At the very end, Sal, I loved it when, at the table... he's like 6 chairs.
Yes.
And then
the Hall of Justice.
Like, but room for more.
Yes.
And it's just like, and like that just made me want to rewatch Justice League because it's like, oh my god, there's so much more, guys.
No, I have a bunch of Easter egg references that I'm going to talk about, but I still have a lot of cons to go through. So, first of all, Flash, his running was kind of weird.
I think we were spoiled with Quicksilver but the good one.
No, but the Flash, he's like running like he's a toddler, like he's barely learning how to walk. And I mean, I understand that it's not. He
hasn't been doing this for that long.
No, but I mean, I seen the Flash show, so I'm like, they got it down on there. Why couldn't they go and be like, oh, you have to run like that?
Well, yeah, he hasn't been doing this for that long. Well, like that's why like the only person who's like had experience or like is Batman and Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman, like I don't know like what she was doing for that 100 years or whatever.
She was kind of
like,
missing in action.
Was she just chilling on the island or what? But
I don't think she went back to the island though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she didn't. Oh, that's right. But yeah, anyway, she was doing something in those 100 years, and then Batman's been doing this for 20 years. But then like like Cyborg, this is week 1. Aquaman, it's like this is like. I'm presuming week 1.
Wait, no, but it wasn't week 1 for Cyborg because we saw him in Batman vs Superman.
No, like their first outing, like
okay,
using their powers and shit.
Oh, like first time working as a team, but doesn't make sense why Flash runs that weird. I mean, it to me just looked out of whack. Like even if he was like, yeah, I'm learning how to run. If he's doing that wobble, he couldn't achieve the fast velocity that he would go to. And that's just me picking at it with a point from science, saying like, yeah,
he couldn't even achieve that velocity using science.
Well, no, I mean, according to them, it's like, oh, he had, because in the comic he says that he runs in a certain way to be aerodynamically efficient, so he can achieve max velocity and tap into the speed force faster, something like that. It's in one of the issues.
You just combine science with the speed force in the same sentence. All of this is bullshit.
But the thing is that it's in the comic. He's referencing that from a comic too. It's in an issue, and I'm like saying like, okay, if he's saying that in the issue, and in the movie you see him running as like a toddler, I'm like, that doesn't really stand with me. It's like, yeah, okay. It's that aside. Cyborg seemed like he was the most human of all the cast because of his character development through flashbacks, which was okay. Not a lot of flashbacks, not too long, to develop Cyborg, but his acting was really good. But the other characters kind of went from being serious from the beginning and ended up being the jokers at the end, especially Aquaman. I mean, in the final fight scene when Cyborg launches him into the building, he comes out of the building riding the bad guy like a surfboard.
Hell yeah.
To me, it was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, seriously.
Well, that's why I like this movie. Just like, you gotta look at, like, I feel like you gotta watch this, going into the mind, like, into the viewpoint of just watching a cool action movie. Like if you just do that, then it's a good movie.
Okay.
Like, just think, yeah, this is gonna be a cool action movie. It's gonna be all good for you.
All right, Skyver, then answer the next one. At the end, the Russian little girl playing and touching the alien flowers.
Yeah.
What the fuck is she doing? It's alien. She doesn't know if it's radioactive or is gonna like bite her or eat her.
Man, everyone's gone to the Prometheus school of everything by now. You gotta know that. Prometheus, like, from running away from things, from not touching things. Right?
She's like seeing whatever the tentacle coming at her, like for a few miles, and then all of a sudden like sprouts a flower. She's like, oh, let me go touch the pretty flower. No,
yeah, exactly.
Stay away from it. It was trying to kill you.
You see flowers. You want to go up to that and smell that shit.
Not if it's gonna kill. It was killing me like 2 seconds ago.
It wasn't killing the little girl then. It was all good. Okay.
We've seen Stranger Things. The little pet. It was like really nice and everything.
Can she live, Sal? Can this little girl live her life? Like, okay, please.
Another thing. Okay, so why did they just pay attention to her family? In that town. Because they reference there's other people, but you never saw the other people.
It's like with Godzilla. You gotta have those civilian scenes just to balance out the humanity in it all.
Yes, you in my point though. But here's the thing: why only?
I mean,
one
like,
family?
was it necessary?
But,
no. Did it
why
add
only
anything?
One family?
No. Did I care about this family? Not at all. I honestly don't know why they're in the movie, Sal.
No.
I mean, I get it.
No. It's not that they're just in the movie. I'm saying they're the only family in the movie.
Exactly. Like, they're the only people, really. Like,